Hey everyone, this is Srinivas here from Automation Technical Learning. Welcome to day 3 of Docker learning, and today mainly we are going to focus on Docker images and containers. How do we work with them? By writing commands. Okay, so just a quick recap. So in the previous session we have learned in order to get containers we have to run images. Okay, so and container creation is a two-step process. So the first step is to pull the image from the Docker Hub, and second step is to run the image. So the moment when we say the Docker run command, it's going to do the two things for us. Okay, so now let's see some of the basic commands that we can run in Docker. So apart from the Docker desktop dashboard in which you can see the images and containers, so we can run the commands from the terminal to see the images existing and containers and so on. So now let's see one by one. So as you already know, Docker pull is the command to basically pull the image from Docker Hub. So this we have seen in the previous session. So now if I want to list the images that are present in my system, then I can simply say Docker images. So if I say Docker images, so it's going to pull, it's going to basically list the images which are present in my system. And I can see all these are currently present. It gives the repository from where it pulled, that is Tomcat, and it gives the version, that is tag, and it gives the image ID, unique ID assigned to the image, and it's also give the size of that. Okay, so now if I want to delete any specific images, so I can delete them by using docker image rm command. So if I say docker and image, and if I give the rm, and I just have to pass the image ID, or I can pass the repository and tag as well. So now let's see the example how we can do that. So docker, I say image and I say rm, and I give the image ID for the first time. So now when I give like this, so uh, we can only remove the images that are unused. Okay, so now if I run the image which are used, so the definition of a unused image is that image is not used in any of the running containers or stopped containers. Okay, so since I already have a container that is using this particular image, so that is why it is saying conflict unable to delete this particular image. So that is because if I can show you the containers that are present in my system. So that is container, that is Tomcat 8. So you can see I have a container that was stopped. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I have a container that was exited. So even though it is exited, but it was using the image Tomcat 8. So that is why I could not delete the image uh, directly. So if I want to delete forcefully, so I can delete by passing -f flag. So simply if I say docker image, and I say rm, and if I say -f, and if I give the same ID, so then it will forcefully delete that particular image. You can see it has deleted it. So now when you are deleting the images, you can, as I said earlier, you can either pass the image ID or you can pass the repository and tag name. So now for example, let me show you with respect to this one, hello world. So now I say docker image rm, and I will say forcefully I want to delete the hello world um, latest. Okay, so why I'm doing forcefully, because again I know that this particular image is being used by one of the stopped containers, so that's why I'm going to delete with the forceful command, and now you can see that it is deleted. So now if I say docker images again, so I'm going to see only one image currently being shown because the two of them have been deleted previously. So while deleting, you can also use multiple images provided with spaces. For example, I can say docker images, and I can docker image rm, and I can provide one ID. For example, I'm showing you. So if I say this one, and if I say I want to delete another image, I want to delete another image, so just provide the ID of that particular image with spaces. It's going to delete multiple images at one go for you. Okay, so that is one info. information. And now let's go to another set of command. So basically, instead of you trying to delete the image which may be existing or which may be used or unused, so by using this particular command, docker image prune -a, it is going to delete the unused images for you. So if I say docker image prune -a, so it's going to remove all the images which do not have any container associated with them. So that's why when I say yes, and it's currently saying that it could not delete any of them because all the containers which all the images which are present in my system are used by stopped or running containers. Okay, so if it had any one um, which was not used, then probably it would have deleted. Okay, so it is giving the warning here. So that is something for you to confirm before you delete, because once you delete, it can't be reverted back. Okay, so that's about the docker image prune command which we have seen. So we'll come to docker system prune command in a bit. So now let's see the docker container related commands. So if I want to list the containers, I can say docker ps -a. So it's going to list all the containers. So now let's see that here. So docker ps -a. So it's going to list all the uh, sorry, yeah, so this space should be removed. Yeah, so we can see now all the containers that are present in my system are shown, including the ones that are exited and which are running as of now. So it shows all. So there is another way of writing the same command that is called as docker container ls. So both are one and the same, but if I pass -a, so it's going to list all. And whereas if I don't pass a, so it's going to list only the containers that are currently up and running. Okay, so currently there are no containers up and running, all are exited. You can see the status. So it also gives the name to your container. When you list your containers, it gives a port, if it had any exposed, what is the status, when it was created, and what is the run command it has used while running the container, and image that it has used while running the container, and what is the container ID, that is unique ID assigned. Okay, so now let me just try to have one container running. So I'll have the docker run. I'll say selenium /hub. So I'm going to run one of the latest selenium hub, okay, in a container mode. So I can run like this. So instead of giving the random name assigned to it, so I can have my own name provided. So how I can provide is I can simply say -name, and I can provide the name. So I'll call it as my selenium hub. So now if I say enter, so it's going to create a container with this particular name by using the image that is provided there. So now if I use different terminal to see the result, because that's currently up and running. So now I'm going to say docker, and I'll say container, and I'll say ls. So this is going to list all the currently active or running containers. So you can see now here this is listing the container ID image that is used, and the command that it internally uses while running the container. And so it is created just 20 seconds ago, 22 seconds, status is up, port is 4444, and the name is the one that I've provided. So this is how you can have your own name provided to the container. Okay, so now let's see how we can delete the container. So to delete container, you have to use the rm command, docker rm, and you can provide the container ID or container name. Or the other way to write, just like how we have seen earlier with respect to listing, you can use docker container rm, and you can provide the container ID. Okay, so now let's try that here. So when I say docker container ls minus a, so I want to list all the containers. Okay, so it's listing, and we can see only one container is currently up and running. So when you delete the container, usually the container has to be in exited mode, Okay, so if it is not in executed mode, it will give the error saying that you can't delete the running container. Okay, so now let's try to delete the container. So I'm going to say docker container rm, and I'm going to provide one of the container which is exited before 10 minutes ago. So I'm going to remove this. So it's going to remove this container. You can see it got removed. So in order to confirm it, I'm going to say docker container ls minus a. Yeah, so it's showing now one container less. So now same result will be reflected in dashboard as well, like what we have seen. So it will be reflected in dashboard as well. So if I see, I can see now total 3, same matching here, total 3, and 1 is up and running. Okay, so similarly, like how we can delete multiple images at one go by providing spaces, you can delete multiple containers by providing spaces as well. Let's try to delete these two at one go. So I can say docker container, and I can say rm, and I can provide this container, and I can provide this container. So even it can be a name provided as well. So now I'm trying one container with the ID and one container with the name. You can see it got deleted. And now if I say docker container ls minus a, so I can see that there is only one container present in my system, and that's shown here. Okay, so now one last command that we want to learn for today is the docker system prune minus all. So this is the very powerful command which can help you clean up all the stopped containers, images, and networks. Okay, so now if I say docker system prune minus all, so in my case, there is no sorry, it has to be double hyphen. So in my case, there is no stopped containers existing because I've cleaned up everything. So when I say docker system prune, I won't see anything getting cleaned up. So it shows uh, no reclaimed space. So however, I can try to stop one of the running container. So how to stop the running container? So to stop the running container, we can use the stop command. I think I've not written here. So we'll see that now. So we can say docker container, and I can say stop, and I can provide the container ID or the name. So the moment I say like that, so it's going to stop the running container. And after that, if I check the status of the containers, docker container ls minus a, so it's going to show one, but that is in exited mode. And now on top of this, if I run that previous command, docker system prune minus all, so it's going to basically clear the stopped container and the associated image to it. So it has saved some space. So this way you can clean up your system by using these commands. Okay, so now let's yeah, so I think, yeah, here it is, docker stop, yeah, that we have discussed already. So yeah, now let's see the assignment for today. So we have to run these containers in the running mode. So all these containers should be up and running. So nginx, httpd, mysql should be up and running. And then try to delete the images that are created. Can you delete it? So that's the question. And now stop the httpd container. So you know the commands that were discussed. Try to stop the httpd container and then try to delete the httpd image. Can you delete it? And thirdly, now try to forcefully delete image httpd. Can you delete it now? Okay, and finally, uh, clean up the entire Docker system. So that there should not be any images present. There should not be any containers present. Okay, so please try it out and let me know how it go. And if you have any questions about what we have discussed so far, please let me know in the comment below. I'll try to answer them in the next session. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next session.